And there we are. We are now joined by Alex Bowman, driver of the number 88 ChevyGoods.com Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. We're going to go straight into the questions, and our first question will come from Zach Sterniolo with the Pocono Record. Go ahead with your question, Zach.
Alex, thanks for taking the time to do this today. There's been a lot of talk about kind of the format for this weekend. What are your expectations going into Saturday's race just to get back onto the track here at such a unique track with no practice?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Pocono is one of the places that probably takes the most time to kind of get up to speed and to get rolling. So not having any practice will probably be pretty unique. And the guys with a lot of experience there will probably maybe have a little advantage on the guys that don't have a ton of races there. But I'm looking forward to it. I think the format's neat. I'm all for no practice. I think we're supposed to be the best at what we do. So I don't know that we need the amount of practice that we used to have on normal weekends. So I'm enjoying the no practice thing, and I'm ready to go.
Our next question will come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead with your question, Lee.
Thank you. You're doing well, Alex. Thanks for joining us. Wanted to ask you about Bristol and what you thought about moving.
Lee, you're having a hard time hearing you, my friend.
Sorry about that. I wanted to ask you about Bristol and moving the All-Star race to that track.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that, please?
Yeah, I think I'm a little bummed. We were really, really good at Charlotte the first two races, led a lot of laps, and let two of those get away from us. I really felt like we had a really good shot at winning $1 million, and we still have a good shot at it going to Bristol, but Charlotte was really, really good for us. Didn't have the finishes we deserved, but had some really fast race cars. So going to Bristol, we were okay at the beginning of that race, and then everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong for us. We had a calamity of errors take us out that day. So don't really know what to expect going there, but I think we'll be pretty good. The atmosphere there is awesome, and it sounds like they're going to have a good amount of fans there. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, Charlotte was going to be good to us. So hopefully our Bristol car is every bit as good.
And do you have any interest in expanding your ownership duties on the dirt side?
If somebody else wants to pay for it, yeah, I'm all in. That stuff costs a lot of money, and the one race I do a year costs enough.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Our next question will come from Claire B. Lang. Go ahead with your question, Claire.
Great. Thank you for talking to us. So Toyota has won the last 5 races at Pocono, with Joe Gibbs Racing's Kyle Busch winning 3 and Denny Hamlin taking his 5th checkered flag at the track in July. What do you think Hendrick has for it? And when you look at the Toyotas and you think, wow, they're pretty good there, I know that doesn't intimidate you.
I'm not scared. Yeah, I think our cars are much better at that style racetrack than we have been in the past couple of years. So I'm looking forward to getting there. I think our intermediate stuff and our big racetrack stuff has been really strong this year. Obviously, Pocono is its own thing and completely different than anywhere else we go. But at least the most similar places we go, we've been really strong at. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we can be really strong. I guess we don't know until we start the race, right? But I think we'll be really good.
And what does it take from a driver there? It's hard to believe Kevin Harvick hasn't won at Pocono. It's one of the few tracks he hasn't won at. Does that surprise you? And then you think about what it takes from a driver to be good at Pocono.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising. I didn't realize he hadn't won there. So, I think for a driver to be good there, your commitment level has to be really high. The tunnel turn, especially now with this rules package, is really on edge. You have some guys that commit to it and run it wide open, and it's really, really uncomfortable and hard to do throughout the race. So I think that's become an added element to it, just how high your commitment level has to be through the tunnel turn. But then really just knowing what you need, to split the balance between 3 completely different corners, and knowing how to get the car there is really important.
Have some fun this weekend and good luck, okay?
Thanks.
Our next question will come from Charlie Lapastora. Go ahead with your question, Charlie. Charlie, do you have a question? You're on mute. Okay, we're going to move next to Jeff Gluck. Go ahead with your question, Jeff.
Alex, one of the things that happened Monday was you and Bubba had a nice moment. You tweeted the video of it on your page. Considering everything that's happened between you guys, how did that come about? Obviously everybody's been trying to show support, but can you take us through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's no secret we're not we're not best friends, right? Like, we've had our fair share of run-ins, and that on-track stuff is just gonna happen, right? Tempers are gonna flare, and if you run into the same guy a couple weeks in a row here and there, it's not gonna go great for your relationship. But that's as a race car driver, and that's on the racetrack. And as a human being, I have a big appreciation for him trying to push us all to be better, and speaking up and helping us do the same. So I think, it really comes down to, on the racetrack, we're probably not going to be friends, but as a person, I appreciate what he's doing, and just wanted to show my support for him in that sense.
Thanks.
And our next question will come from Daryl Kinsey Jr. Go ahead with the question, Daryl.
Alex, with 2 races happening in Pocono this weekend, what are some of the things you can do to help your crew chief get that car prepared for Sunday, depending on what happens on Saturday?
Yeah, I'd say that's a big depending on Saturday thing. These cars, the Cup cars especially, are so fragile, really hard to keep clean. You can't lean on each other without really, tearing the car up in a big way. So trying to keep the car clean on Saturday is going to be really important. And then also knowing, having a good understanding of where the race car was at the end of the race, and knowing what we need to be better on Sunday is going to be probably the biggest way I can help Greg.
Our next question will come from Daniel McFadden. Go ahead with the question, Daniel.
So over the early portions of your Cup career, how different is the learning curve at Pocono Raceway compared to every other track? Because of course, Pocono is just a very different track. And what aspects of the track have you come to appreciate versus the aspects that continue to maybe to confound you or frustrate you?
Yeah, I think the learning curve was probably a little bigger when I first started going to Pocono than it is going now, just because you were shifting every corner. That was a big difference. There's not any other ovals that we shift at, so just figuring that out. I didn't run trucks, and Xfinity didn't race there, so I had some ARCA races there, but you didn't shift. It was just different in a Cup car. Now it's a little more normal without that shift. The tunnel turn is still really, really tricky, and knowing how to build runs, it's pretty hard to pass. Dirty air's pretty tough there. But then if you mess up, the straightaways are super long, and you're going to have 5 guys blow your doors off. So the track itself is tricky, but it's probably a little easier now than it used to be without shifting and all that.
Good deal. It looks like we also have a follow-up question from Jeff Gluck. Go ahead with your question, Jeff.
Oh, sorry. I just forgot to put my hand down. I don't have a question. Sorry.
Good deal.
Oh, come on.
I do know that Bob Pockris has raised his hand. Go ahead with your question, Bob.
Yeah, Alex, I'll come on to follow up on Jeff's question. You talked about you and Bubba not being the closest friends. Do you feel that Bubba, does he race people too hard because of the equipment he's in? What is it that he even joked, I think, to the drivers on Monday, right? Did he get out of his car and say something like, "I know a bunch of you don't like me," or something like that?
I think he said, "I don't even like half of you."
Okay.
I couldn't really hear what he said, but I think that's what he said. Obviously in a really sarcastic fashion, right? No, I mean, I think everybody races different. You have guys that race really hard, and you have guys that if you catch them, let you go, and some guys don't let you go and are going to race hard for every spot. So I think Bubba and I just ran into each other quite a few times back to back to back. And, you know, he crashed me a couple times in the Xfinity car and an East car. And then I got into him at the Roval, and we've had so many incidents on the racetrack. You know, race car drivers are like elephants. They end up remembering everything. So I don't know. I think that was just a situational thing where we've run into each other so many times. We just kind of, it's hard to like somebody that you've wrecked with like 5 times, right?
Good deal.
Thank you.
Well, Alex, we really appreciate you taking the time this morning. Good luck this weekend at the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me.